Okay, so, um, hey man, how's it going? Okay, hey guys, it's Joshua Reviews. So, okay. So, again, okay. So I say this every review, but let me just say this. Every year when I choose what movie I'm going to review for Christmas month or what I'm going to choose to talk about, I'm typically, having to put some other films aside and save it for next year. Sometimes I change it last minute. Sometimes I'm like, I plan ahead. And for like the last 2 years, I wanted to talk about Saint because it looked cool, but I don't know. It wasn't like something. It looked bad. I wanted to put it off. It was just something I just kind of put off, and I was like, I'm gonna review it this year. And it seems like every review I have some sort of story to tell. And I mean, you guys like hearing them, right? You guys like hearing these stories, right? That's why you watch me. What little viewers I have. Anywho, so this movie I believe was filmed in the Netherlands, but when me and my friend decided to watch this movie, we watched it with the English dub, and oh boy. Okay, so I want to get the main criticism I have with this film out of the way. It's okay. I don't even know if this is the fault of the movie because we watched the English dub, but the English dub is fucking horrible. It is awful. It is. I want to say it's worse than the Squid Game dub because I actually kind of tolerated that dub. I think some films dubs work, some others don't. Like the best dub I've seen is the dub for the movie Wreck, which is that, Spanish film, the zombie film, the found footage one. And that was probably the best dub for any movie I've seen. And then you get some other dubs for other movies that are just god awful. Yeah, this is really bad. None of it matches the lips. They don't even try. It seems like a lot of the characters all sound the fucking same. So anytime when I was watching this movie, I couldn't help but is it the same guy talking? I can't tell because everyone has the same fucking voice. The guy, I don't even know if they got different guys to voice act for this film or do the dub, but whatever. Anyways, just wanted to get that out of the way. I don't even know if that's I'm going off the English dub. And apparently a lot of the negative reviews that came from this movie had similar issue. So I want to just start off by saying that I don't think that's the movie's fault. That's just kind of something I wanted to point out. Anyways, so how's the movie? So yeah, this movie follows Saint Nick, not Santa, Saint Nick. And I don't know how it is in the Netherlands, but they treat this figure as a totally different thing. They are so what Saint Nick get you this year? What did what present did he get you? And I guess it's this whole thing that the town does. I don't know. I'm American, so I don't know what the traditions are back there. But I was just kind of okay. I don't really understand what's going on here, but that's fine. I feel like a movie should do a good enough job, establishing what's happening. And I'll say this: the first half of this movie, I was on board with it despite the dub. And I'm not going to mention the dub. I'm just wanting to bring it up. But despite the dub, I was on board because this movie seemed like it was going to be a traditional slasher with a kooky kind of wild edge. Ooh, I almost voice character a little bit. But this movie starts off very, very similar to the original 1978 Halloween, where you got the Dr. Loomis type figure, and you got the final girl who is literally walking with her two friends in a neighborhood home from school after seeing a suspicious figure, and then she meets up with her boyfriend. She thinks she sees St. Nicholas and, the whole thing. It literally, the first 30 minutes, I was like, are we repeating the original Halloween? Okay. And then after that, I don't even know what happens. This movie's wild in so many areas. I can't even express what I just watched. I guess I feel the same way about the movie. I have similar feelings to this movie as the same way I felt when I watched the movie Carved on Hulu. A lot of people didn't like that movie. I liked it, I think. I don't... This movie's weird, man. A lot of first of all, I think the backstory they gave Saint Nick, or the Santa figure, is very dope. Very cool. I liked what they did with it. And I was like, okay, this is going to be cool. Despite the dub, I was like, okay, I'm on board with this. And I'm sure the regular, sub is better. So I'm not, again, just wanted to point that out. But then midway through the film, it becomes a fucking action movie. There's like a car chase, and then there's SWAT teams showing up, shooting this fucker, and then characters are all over the place. They have bombs trying to bomb a ghost pirate ship. And I'm like, I thought this was a slasher. And I'm not saying that that's like a bad thing, that it wasn't. I was just like, this is not at all what I was expecting. And for a movie that does take place around Christmas time and has a Santa figure, I mean, obviously St. Nick is the original origin of Santa. This really doesn't feel Christmassy at all. You could have totally, like, if you told me this just to take place in, like, winter time, I'd be like, oh, yeah, it's not a Christmas movie, but yeah, not a lot really has to do with Christmas in this film, besides a few, decorations and stuff like that. I was just kind of like, you could really pass this off as, like, any other type of thing during winter, but okay, it's a Christmas movie. How are the kills? Which I know probably none of you were. That was a poor segue, but whatever. Kills are cool. You're a gorehound, you'll like them. But anyways, back to the movie. Just want to point that out. Besides this movie being wacky as fuck, I thought it was kind of mid. Now, I know that word gets used a lot, but I don't really know how else to say it. I was just kind of in the middle. Like, I was kind of like, okay, I'm half enjoying this, but I'm half not. And I don't know where to, I don't know where I'd put, my feelings towards this movie. It was weird. I'll say this. The lore is cool, but I don't really feel like they do much with it. There's not, besides the Saint Nick, besides Saint Nick riding on this horse, or goat, whatever, I was just kind of like, okay, but, what makes him stand out? He's a zombie, and that's cool, but he doesn't really do that many cool things. He's got, a bunch of henchmen, elf-type figures or whatever, and they're cool. They're kind of like these zombies, and there's some cool scenes with them, but not a lot of stuff happens. A lot of this movie is a lot of talking and planning about what they're going to do to stop the killer, and I'm just like, yeah, but you can only do that for so much before I'm just like, bro, I want to get to the action. I want to get to the kills. And I'm not saying that I condone the kills. I'm just saying that that's what, you expect when you're watching a film like this. So I'm like, when are we going to get to all the cool stuff? The reason I, purchased a ticket, the reason I rented this fucking movie. And, when it does happen, it's cool, I guess. But my biggest issue with this film is probably the characters. I do not like a single one of them. Besides the main guy who's he was in the opening, he witnessed his family get killed, and he's like, oh, he's the Loomis figure. I gotta take down Saint Nick. And no one, of course, believes his story. He's a lunatic. He goes around with a gun, get back. And, he's literally Dr. Loomis in the Netherlands. Besides that, yeah, I didn't really care for any of these characters. None of them are interesting. None of them are really that engaging. I think where the movie works is it's really fucking fast-paced. This movie, it goes it moves. There's some questionable decisions made by characters that maybe scratch my head, but I kind of got the feeling they were kind of going for that over-the-top, wacky tone. So it didn't really bug me. I don't really know how else to describe this movie. It was just a weird experience. Now, I want to point this out. I don't typically point stuff out like this, but some people found this movie offensive because there's one scene where one of the character's friends literally has blackface. And I didn't really read it as offensive when I was watching it, but a lot of people apparently did, so I just wanted to give a fair warning. From what I remember in the film, they don't really, go into any racial thing. They just, it's kind of there. The guy has black face paint, and you're kind of like, oh, okay. So I wanted to point that out in case any of you guys are turned off by that. Actually, I got a disclaimer in the beginning of the film when I started, so I was like, oh, okay, so there's going to be some pretty, offensive stuff in here. And I saw that, I was like, oh, is that it? And as the film progressed, I was like, okay, I guess that was it. So, I don't know, just wanted to point that out. I mean, besides all that stuff, it's okay. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I'm not going to watch it again. Probably ever. So I'm going to give it a C minus. I don't really know how to feel. Nope. I just don't get it. No. I just don't. By the way, that was a Miracle on 34th Street reference.